Like this video and subscribe to our channel, or else you'll eat nothing but burnt food for the rest of your life, unless you want that. Surely one of the benefits of being a rich and powerful billionaire is being able to eat whatever you want without worrying about how many figures you'll see on your bill. Maybe, when you think of the appetites of rich people, you think of celebrities on low-carb, low-gluten, low-everything diets. Just salads and kale shakes all day long, right? As a matter of fact, the kind of food a billionaire is willing to buy might surprise you. So with this video, we want to count down the top 10 most expensive foods in the world. We're not talking meals in 5-star restaurants here. Some of these pricey foods fetch 5 figures per kilogram. If you want to know which, stick around until the end of the video. Number 10. Iberico ham. In Spain and Portugal, cured meats are a real delicacy. Their chefs have turned the act of making ham into fine art, and Iberico ham is without a doubt the Mona Lisa. Just imagine lying on a sunbed in Barcelona and a waiter comes over to you with some bread and a delicious slice of Iberico ham. That's the life right there. It's produced when farmers breed Iberian pigs on a steady diet of 7 kilograms of acorns a day for the last few years of their life. With this comes a distinctive, nutty, sweet taste, but the meat has to be cured for 36 months before it's ready for consumption. After nearly 2 years of hanging on a hook, the ham is ready to be bought for $392 per kilogram. Try putting that on your BLT. Number 9. Kopi luwak coffee. If you think the price of a latte at Starbucks is extortionate, the price of this coffee will blow your mind. Kopi luwak is an Indonesian drink derived from coffee cherries after they've been eaten and digested by Asian palm civets. Now, if the sound of drinking something that's passed through an animal's digestive system, and some people believe the fermentation process to be a gimmick to jack up the price, we'll admit it doesn't sound the most appetizing, but according to coffee experts, it's one of the most sought-after coffees in the world. Some tourists to Indonesian coffee farms have been known to pay as much as $1,200 per kilogram of kopi luwak beans. That's more than enough to buy you a diamond ring, but maybe don't buy coffee for your fiancé when you propose to her. Number 8. Matsutake mushrooms. Staying in Asia, Japan is well known for their shiitake mushrooms, but their most expensive form of fungus is the matsutake mushroom, or matake for short. Fortunately for the rest of the world, it can also be grown in Europe and North America. Sadly, matake is becoming rarer and rarer to farm due to an increase in insects and trees which infest areas that are best suitable for it to grow under. At this rate, matake might become a thing of the past entirely, which is why it costs so much to buy. At a minimum, matake will sell for $600 per kilogram, but some buyers have paid as much as $2,000 for it. Even Mario and Luigi wouldn't pay that much for a mushroom. Here's hoping things change in the future, and matake is here to stay for a long time. Number 7. White truffles. This was probably more along the lines of what you were thinking when you thought expensive food, right? Truffles have been a staple of every luxury restaurant and bistro for decades now, but white truffles in particular are the real deal. They can only be found in the roots of particular trees in northern Italy, and people used to rely on trained sniffer pigs to find them. Annoyingly, pigs would eat the truffles once they found them. So, dogs have since become the go-to truffle hunters. They can't be grown in a garden or by planting seeds, so can only be found when you go out digging under trees at a particular time of year. Couple this with their very distinctive taste and scent, and you have yourself a guaranteed money maker. White truffles vary massively in price. Sometimes you can be very lucky and get them for very cheap. Other times you're paying $603 per 100 grams, which, when you consider how small an amount that is saying a lot. On average, the price of a kilogram of white truffles ranges between $2,100 and $2,500. Imagine paying nearly as much as you'd pay for 3 iPhone 12s for something you grate over your spaghetti. It really must make your dinner taste that much better. Number 6. Saffron. This next food is also known as red gold, precisely because, pound for pound, it's actually more valuable. Pretty much essential for anyone wanting to cook a decent curry, paella, or risotto. Saffron is the world's most expensive spice, grown mainly in Iran and at a ridiculously slow rate, hence it's how expensive it is. It's produced by the Crocus sativus flower and only at 3 stigmas at a time. Considering there are around 450 to 500 stigmas in just 1 gram of saffron, you can see how time-consuming it is for farmers to make enough of it to use and sell. Per kilogram, some have paid as much as $10,000 for it. Might sound like a lot of money, but a kilogram of saffron is equal to 2 football pitches of it. So at least you're getting your money's worth. Number 5. Ubari king melon. I guess all these foods we're talking about must be making you pretty hungry. Well, don't worry. Stick around till the end of the video to see more delicious looking food. When they're called king melons, you know they're truly the best of the best. Ubari king melons are actually a crossbreed between two separate kinds of cantaloupe. So you could say they're two melons combined to form a super melon, kind of like the Wonder Twins, but with melons. In Japan, they're high revered as gifts, and auctions for pairs of them have fetched ridiculous prices. In 2017, 2 melons were sold for $27,229, which roughly amounts to 1.3 kilograms. They've been adored the world over for their unparalleled sweetness and can only be grown in Ubari, Japan, hence making them incredibly valuable to billionaires wanting to make a particularly expensive fruit salad. Number 4. Bluefin tuna. We all love a tuna melt sandwich, but we doubt the crazy rich people buying bluefin tuna are using it for their sandwiches. Bluefin tuna is actually the most expensive seafood in the world and is mainly used for top-quality sushi and sashimi in Japanese cuisines. It's so sought after that it's becoming an endangered species, only driving up the price even more. Although Japanese chefs love bluefin, the best place to catch it is in the Mediterranean Sea, which has become the top hotspot for catching and buying bluefin in the world. The highest selling amount of bluefin in history was in 2019 when Kiyoshi Kimura paid $3.1 million for 278 kilograms. That's nearly $11,000 per kilogram. The last big purchase of bluefin was just last year when Kimura paid $1.8 million for the same amount. Kiyoshi just loves his tuna. Number 3. Alma's caviar. This wouldn't be a proper list about expensive foods if we didn't talk about caviar. It's the stereotypical food stuff you think of when you hear the word rich. Beluga caviar comes from the eggs of beluga whales, but one specific type of caviar is Alma's. It's derived from a very specific breed of female albino beluga whales that swim in the Caspian Sea between the ages of 600 to 100 years old. If you don't believe that it's the most expensive caviar you can buy, take it up with the Guinness World Records. Much like a lot of the foods on this list, rarity equals value, and Alma's caviar usually goes for $10,000 per kilogram, but has been known to fetch prices of up to nearly $35,000 per kilogram. One of the most notable attributes of Alma's caviar is that it has a golden color, unlike typical black caviar. So, when you splash 5 figures on this stuff, just think of it as like eating gold. Speaking of which, number 2. Edible gold. Have you ever been to Fort Knox and thought, I'd love to eat one of those gold bars? Well, you're in luck. That's right. It is indeed possible to buy edible gold that comes in the form of dust, leaves, and flakes. It's often used to spruce up already prestige dishes like cakes and even burgers. It doesn't actually have a taste of its own, but it sure does make food look that extra bit fancier. It's usually sold in very small quantities, but even 100 milligrams will cost you $29. That's the same weight as 1/10 of a dollar bill. And you're paying 29 of them. Turn that into kilograms and that's close to $290,000 we're talking. So you can either pay off a mortgage on your house or you can make all your cakes look nice and shiny at your next birthday party. Up to you. Number 1. Da Huang Pao tea. And so for our number 1 spot, we're back to our hot drinks. But not just any hot drink. This is the Holy Grail of teas. It's a tea so valuable, it's worth more than 30 times its weight in gold. Da Hong Pao is grown in China's Wuyi Mountains and is legendary for its sweet flavor with a woody aftertaste because of the trees it grows from. China is a culture well known for taking its tea drinking very seriously, so you know they mean business when they charge rates as high as they do for Da Hong Pao. In 2002, one buyer paid nearly $22,000 for just 20 grams of it, the same weight as 20 sticks of chewing gum. Translate that into a kilogram, and we're talking a staggering $1.11 million. That's 444 kilograms of matsutake mushrooms, or nearly 2,832 kilograms of iberico ham. And all for a tea, the drink you'd usually have whilst visiting your grandma. With Da Hong Pao, it ages like wine, in that the older it is, the better. If you find yourself with some of it, maybe leave it in your basement for a few decades and sell it back to someone. You'll make quite the investment. What foods do you think we should have mentioned? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more of our content. And remember, you always have a choice. Choose luxury anytime.